Okay, today is December the 16th, 2018, and right now it's 6 p.m. We have a temperature of 55 degrees here in the foothills of Los Angeles. The relative humidity is 65%. The dew point is 43 degrees, and we have a barometric pressure of 29.96 inches, or about 1,015 millibar. Okay, we had heavy aerosol chemtrail spraying all day today here in Southern California. We have a massive frontal system approaching the west coast. This was a big storm here about 3 days ago. On Thursday, I attempted to make a video and upload that, but I flubbed that and we had to abort that. And so I've been busy. This is a busy time of the year. Anyhow, here we are. It's Sunday, December 16th. So about 3 days ago on Thursday, this was a 952 millibar storm out just a little bit further west, and we can see that it's now been pushed north. There is a satellite transmitter working on the vortex of this system. This is still a gigantic weather system. We see right down here that we have another development right down here, which is being manipulated. There's a transmitter focusing right on this area to break this up. This is a developing, basically a storm. We can see some very turbulent activity down in this area as this front swings down. Now notice what's happening right here over Mexico. We've got a tropical flow moving right into Mexico, but right here we have counterclockwise development. And so as a result of that, let's go to this next map here. Okay, so right here we have another developing weather system. And what's happening, we have another transmitter that is filling in this area, installing high pressure, which is separating these two weather systems. So right in the middle of this vortex, we have high pressure being installed. We can see that channel of high pressure. And also notice this bow in the moisture field moving eastbound, this eastbound moisture field, which is just bouncing off of this high pressure being installed right here. We can see this crescent-shaped area right here. So we've got satellite transmitters working here, right here, and here as well, and also in this area out in the central Pacific. And just west of the Hawaiian Islands, we have a small weather system spinning counterclockwise. But notice all the high pressure that's been installed out in this area, and that is separating the tropical flow from any, that's blockading this tropical flow from moving north and getting mixed with this much colder North Pacific weather. Now there's some pretty large swells moving into the California coast right now. We'll take a look at that here in a second. Looking at the infrared map, we can see the jet stream flow right here moving towards this weather system. Get a dead frame here. Get rid of that. Let's take a look at the jet stream map right now. We can see the flow pattern right out of the West Pacific, right across, and then it's moving right into this developing little storm system right here off of Northern California, and that's where there's actually a transmitter working on that to break that up. And so that's the flow pattern. We also have some high-speed flow into Mexico where that second weather system is spinning, and then we have high pressure installed right over our area. Now there's a low indicated here, looks like, but let's go back to the big map and take a look. The water vapor map is the telltale of what's really happening. We can see the separation. We have a weather system here. This will move up into New Mexico and Texas. You folks from Texas and New Mexico, let us know what your weather conditions are like. We'll take a look here at the Doppler map in just a sec, but this is a giant weather system swinging down. The entire state should be getting soaked with rain. And as we look at the Doppler map right now, we can see that California is not getting as much rain as it should. And also down here in Mexico, where that developing weather system is moving, we see that there is some precipitation around that vortex right about here. But the transmitter manipulation in this area is preventing this front from moving in and delivering rain. Not only that, but the very heavy aerosol chemtrail spraying all week, on and off all week. Very heavy spraying. Today, the skies were clear this morning, but they quickly, this tide of chemtrail haze moved in off of the west coast as this frontal system moves in. So these jets have been spraying all day long. They fly high above the weather and spray these aerosols, which cap the atmosphere. They prevent the lift in the atmosphere. These chemtrail aerosols are also laced with, they're made, they're basically a chemical fly ash, a recycled fly ash, which is used to cap the atmosphere. Now, these chemtrails contain aluminum nanoparticulate, which acts as a desiccant. So we have lower than normal relative humidity right now with 65%. We should be having much higher relative humidity numbers based on the weather moving in right here. Let's take a look at some of these other maps. Here's the western U.S. water vapor loop. You can see this engineered high pressure separating this front from this developing weather system here. You won't see this on the nightly news. These puppets reporting the weather are lying to us. The mainstream media is the enemy of the American people because they're not showing us what's going on here. We should be getting rain from this system. But once again, if we look at the Doppler map, let's take a look once again and take a look at California. So we're getting some rain up in California, Northern California. Let's look at the, let's zoom in and take a close look at this activity going on as a result of the ground-based WSR-88D ground-based transmitters, these microwave Doppler radars, which work dual function. I've mentioned this over and over, but these radars, these transmitters are marketed as severe weather detection radar, the WSR-88D, but they also work dual function. We can see these pie-shaped cutouts, this very straight edge, a couple of straight edges. We can triangulate this to the exact location of this Doppler radar. Now, as we pan around, we can see the precipitation is being broken up in various areas around the state. We see snow falling up in the High Sierra, up near Lake Tahoe. People up in Sacramento and this entire area are getting plenty of rain. Up in Oroville, the dam has been mostly repaired. There's a fellow up there who has been doing some great reporting, and he's a pilot, and he also takes a lot of video of the progress on that project. So that's this dam is pretty much back in order, I believe. But we can see that at Oroville, there's a WSR-88D located just adjacent to the airport near Oroville. We can see the pie-shaped cutouts as a result of that transmitter activity. If we zoom in, we can see the origin of that WSR-88D is right here. If we triangulate all of these straight edges, this map here we can see is actually filled back in here probably a half hour ago. If we had looked at this map, we'd see big swaths of big pie-shaped cutouts, as we see right here and right here. So this is the Oroville transmitter doing that work, thinning out that precipitation. And this is how our rain is regulated. And this, of course, allows the people on Wall Street, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, and these various weather funds, these derivatives and options that the weather people are, the stock markets are trading, that should be immediately outlawed. And the people that are disseminating the weather to the corporate news networks should be investigated immediately because those people know what's going to happen. We knew through Channel 4, KNBC here a couple of nights ago that we were not going to get any rain. So Puppet Fritz Coleman told us that we may just get a light drizzle. So he knew that. He gets his weather from somebody. We need to find out and confirm, and that's, I'm talking to the executive branch, President Trump. His group needs to find out who is disseminating the weather and follow the chain of command and find out, and those people should be hung. They should be held accountable. because this manipulation of our weather has to stop. It's very obvious what's going on, and it's also very obvious why the news networks around the country only show the animated cartoon weather, cartoon version of weather. They don't show the satellite weather. They don't show these maps right here. They don't show this activity. It's very obvious what's going on here. This is a low pressure center, yet we see a high pressure blockade right near this vortex. Same thing's happening here. We have developing a secondary weather system developing right here adjacent to this former storm system, right? But right here, this is actually moving right towards Point Conception and Southern California. Yet we see a lot of activity. We see some straight edges developing towards the end of this loop. If we stop the loop here, we can actually scroll through and see the rectangular imprint right on the vortex of that developing storm right there. So there's our proof. And of course, these puppets on TV, these stooges, they will not show us this activity, this evidence. And at the same time, the mainstream media is going to trot out Al Gore once again to try to sell us that CO2 and climate change baloney. Look at the disruption right here in this jet stream flow. Once again, the jet stream map right here, we can see that this is indicated as a high-speed flow moving around that developing weather system. But we go back to the map here, and we see what's happening. We've got a disruption here. We have a satellite transmitter right on top of that vortex, and that will basically, we should be getting rain. This is heading right towards us, and so the weather controllers may surprise us. They may let it rain. I hope I'm wrong, but the way the forecast is unfolded the last few days, we've had very heavy spraying over Southern California, and that may or may not do the job. We'll just have to wait and see. But this is heading right towards us, and as this unfolds, it all depends. It's really in their hands. We'll just have to watch what happens over the next several hours. Looking here at the infrared map, we see all that moisture moving in, but yet there's really nothing, once again, over the Point Conception area right here. You see some weather moving in, but there is a lot of activity. Let's take a quick look at the pressure maps. Here's the surface analysis, or rather the surface pressure map. We see, let's take a look at the surface analysis map first. We can see what's going on here. Got a high pressure area installed right off of Southern California. There is a trough indicated right here, but we got 1,025 and 1,022 highs, one here and one here. We've got a cold front moving in, and we'll just have to see what happens with this developing system, if it can plow through that low, or rather through this zone of high pressure. We'll just have to see how that works out. This is a storm. This is the storm that I was talking about a couple of days ago, or this was a 953 millibar storm that's been pushed north. We have another one moving towards the Canadian coast. Okay, and then here we have a warm front. This is rather odd, right in the middle of a developing storm. That's the satellite transmitter at work. Here is the swell report. We can see some huge swells, 24-foot swells right in this area. 29 to 24-foot swells moving right into Northern California. Down here we've got, let's see, 24, we've got 15. So there's going to be some very large surf right off of Central California here in the next day or so. Okay, let's take a look at the maps real quick. That's the surface map. You see a lot of jaggies. That's where the satellite transmitters are working. Look at all these jaggy lines. Here is the 500 millibar map. We see right here, this is where the transmitter manipulation is occurring. These should all be very smooth isobars. We see the jaggies. Next, we have the 300 millibar map. Same thing. We got a lot of jaggies and evidence of transmitter manipulation. Okay, so we're just going to leave it right here and hope that we get some rain. We should be getting rain. This is a massive weather system. Okay, that's it.